Clubhouse.
Welcome back to our final day of coverage of the ATX Television Festival. This is Paul.
This is Caroline.
So Sunday was an unusual day for me. Now, if you were attending, it would have been a very normal day for you, and you would have gotten to see the I Love Lucy full cast reading performed by Hollywood actors and other cool things that day.
Other things were the Pluto TV Festival finale brunch bites, which is always a fun event to head to. They also had the member farewell coffee presented by Plex. That was going on. They had a really cool panel called Grit, Guts, and Stunts inside CBS's Marshalls, which for us, that's always fascinating because we, of course, are covering Yellowstone.
That show stars Ariel Kebbel, who is an ATX ambassador. So she's done several events with ATX over the years. So I'm sure that's where that connection came. Now, we didn't watch this show. It's called Sweet Vicious, but in a weird nostalgic sense, it was a big part of the show that we first went to 10 years ago. You know, they had the Sweet Vicious people there because the show was either it was still on or just canceled. So it was like still something at that moment. And then so 10 years later, they're celebrating it again with the creator and the actors. I did not get to attend that, but it is still kind of neat how they honor where they started as a festival and bring back the people that helped make them.
So lots of cool panels going on all over the place. Again, because we're press, we had a little bit of a different experience this time. So tell us a little bit about what you were up to, Paul.
I was able to interview two different parties from Birtbox television shows, and they took place at the Austin Proper Hotel, which was several streets away from the rest of the festival. However, if you are looking for like one of those uniquely Austin but high-end kind of stays in Austin, I would go look at the Austin Proper Hotel if I were you. I was really impressed with what I saw when I was there, awaiting my slots to talk to the cast and creator of the other Bennett sister, and then the stars of Tommy and Tuppence. The first interview was with the star of the other Bennett sister. Her name is Ella Brucoleri. She plays Mary Bennett. And the show's creator, Sarah Quintrell, who wrote the episodes and executive produced the show. Turns out that this show is based on a book that had recently come out called The Other Bennett Sister, which was sort of like official fan fiction, if you will, of Jane Austen's book, Pride and Prejudice. So it takes the least popular character from the group of sisters in Pride and Prejudice, and they don't focus on the trials and tribulations of like Mr. Darcy and whatever the focus is of that book. And they take Mary, who's sort of the bookish, forgotten sister, and give her a story.
Love the twist.
I've watched the entire show, and I know it hasn't all come out yet, but let me just tell you, it's just a charming little will they, won't they love story all the way through all 10 episodes. Every bit about it is just fun to watch, and every episode leaves a little cliffhanger that, you know, no one's life is in danger, but it is something to be like, man, I need to know what the next part is.
I love like ones that shows like that where they kind of focus on a character that is unexpected and different, and you get a chance to sort of see it from a whole different point of view. Like I'm a big fan when I was teaching of like when they did those fairy tale ones where like they would take the Three Little Pigs and then show the story from like the big bad wolf's point of view, and he'd be like, I'm not a big bad anything, you know, and like show how he was like misunderstood and stuff. So fun. I love shows like this where they kind of twist it on its head and show it to you from a different point of view.
Well, and it's got a nice message, right? She's overlooked
so,
in her family because her mother puts more emphasis on appearance than character. And her sisters are pretty but not nice, right?
Yep.
And her mother doesn't really approve of the way that Mary looks, and she doesn't respect any of her pastimes or the way that she does anything. And they turn that on its head. They basically say, well, when she gets away from her mother, works out for her because she doesn't have that same negative reinforcement constantly.
It's a very like be who you are, great message, like
It
be
is.
proud of yourself.
Yeah. So then after that, I got to talk to the stars of another show called Tommy and Tuppence. Stars Antonia Thomas and Josh Dillon. This is the second cozy mystery show at ATX. I got to talk to Brooke Shields and Amalia Williamson about their show, You're Killing Me, which is about a writer and a podcaster. Well, Tommy and Tuppence is about a writer, Tommy, and I don't know that Tuppence actually has a dedicated career at this point in her life, but she is very action oriented, whereas the writer, Tommy, he's a little bit more wait and see about stuff.
They call her impulsive in their summary.
So this is an adaptation of Agatha Christie, who, is famous for her recurring characters Poirot and Miss Marple. These are like shows and movies and books that have been around forever. Tommy and Tuppence was a series that she wrote over a period of years where she would drop in on Tommy and Tuppence, give them a mystery to solve, and let them age along with her as she wrote them. So they start in like World War I, when they are young, and by the last book they are like middle-aged or retirement age. I can't remember exactly. And so it's kind of a unique take because they age with Agatha.
That's so cool.
And so this is updating that story.
It seems almost like a journal for her, like a diary through time, right? But like through characters. And like if they're like peers of her, what an interesting thing. Like the way that they describe it is like it's the duo's classic screwball comedy and playful romance with the energy of modern London. Fun, right?
Well, there's a constant will they, won't they aspect to Tommy and Tuppence that
Tommy and Tuppence
makes you wonder, because, a lot of shows will jump the shark. If the will they, won't they couple actually does hook up, then something about the storytelling at that point kind of takes a turn. But in the books, that is what happens, and it doesn't happen late. It happens early. So what are they going to do in this show? Who knows? You have to watch. It's on Birtbox.
Go check it out, you guys. This was the moderator. There was Mo Ryan for that panel that they had that day as well. So Paul was interviewing them, but at 12:15 over in the State Theater, they actually had an amazing panel where you could learn more about the cast and give you a chance to watch a screening too and do a little Q&A with the cast, which is another thing that I want to mention. ATX often has Q&As at their panels. We always recommend, if you're going, that you start with a W word. You don't start like I want to tell you about my story. Please don't. No one wants to hear it, and it's definitely going to make everyone groan in the audience. No one is cool about that. So please, if you are a part of the Q&As, like ask an actual question. And as we've discussed many times, and I know how Paul words this, he always says, don't be cute. Because the problem when you get too complicated with your question is it actually like kind of squashes the energy in the room. And so I highly recommend you don't do that. If you're trying to find a unique way to ask a question, maybe just think about more about the fact that there's a lot of people waiting to ask a question and you have this unique experience. So just get right to your point and get your question answered rather than wrapping it up in an elaborate story or a creative way to ask it. It won't be appreciated in these settings because really this is a situation where everybody wants to get a chance to ask their question. So get up there, ask it, make it a good one, and sit down.
At the Bill Lawrence panel the previous day, there were people that were not cute, but they were funny with their questions. Because like one lady gets up and she says something to the effect of, "You're my boyfriend's favorite show, blah, blah, blah." And Bill, of course, he starts asking her questions. And
right. Why isn't it your favorite show?
Or I think it was like, "Was he your boyfriend last year when you came?" And she's like, "Yes." And he goes, "Well, how come he hasn't proposed yet?"
Oh, whoa.
That's
Wicked.
so funny.
Oh my gosh. So Where can everybody see all of your interviews and pictures? You take so many great pictures throughout the entire 4-day festival. I know we even have people who are in the panels who end up taking our photos from Pod Clubhouse and posting them on their socials because your photos are so great. So please tell us where you can see them and where you can get all these interviews.
The photos will be on podclubhouse.com and at Pod Clubhouse on Instagram. And then the interviews will be on podclubhouse.com and YouTube on our at Pod Clubhouse channel. That does it for our coverage of the 2026 edition of the ATX Television Festival.
As always, we are so happy and excited every year for ATX to come around. We've been doing this for 10 years and we enjoy it so much. We thank all the ATX sponsors. We thank the creators for having us be press with them, and we enjoy it every year. And we hope that you will come out and buy a badge and join us, and hopefully we get to meet you in person. We've had sometimes people have come up to us and said, I recognize your voice. I know you. You're Caroline. You're Paul. I've listened to your podcast, and that's super fun for us. So if that happens, we would love to see you in person.
If you like this podcast, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to it on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you found it. If you leave a rating and a comment or review, that will help other people find the podcast in the future. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for listening.
Pod Clubhouse.